Right now at 5, authorities respond to a vehicle crash in Crawford County involving a pedestrian.
And we have more red flag warnings for the area. I'll have those details coming up.
Plus, children in Jasper County could see a financial boost for services thanks to an upcoming ballot proposition.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
And it's finally Friday here in the 4 states. March 21st?
Yes, it is.
I got to think about it for a second.
It is March 21st. Great day.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a nice day outside. This is actually going to feel like spring. I know spring technically started yesterday, but we're getting into the upper 60s, almost hitting 70 degrees today.
Nice.
Let's go ahead and take a look outside. There are some threats, though. We do have fire weather concerns as we head into today. Actually, fire weather warnings across the entire area. Now, take a look. Winds are gusting up to 30, 35 miles per hour. And then we also see some low humidity values that are dropping down into low 20% range and even below as that dry line pushes through early this afternoon. Now we also have a front that's moving through later on today. It is going to cause the winds to calm down a lot as we head into this evening. But for most of the day today, most of the morning and into early afternoon, we're dealing with cloudy weather. We're dealing with windy weather that we've seen quite a bit over the last couple of weeks. And we're also dealing with that low humidity. Now you can see all those clouds pushing through. We may see an isolated shower, a light, very brief, some sprinkles or drizzle, but mostly it's going to be a dry front that's passing. Temperature is getting up to the upper 60s. Again, mostly cloudy, and those winds are shifting as well. Now tonight it's going to be pretty nice. We're only dropping down into the lower 40s again, but through the evening hours and overnight or into late tonight, we're getting down only into the low 50s, and those clear skies return. So overall, it's going to be a beautiful day, beautiful night. Definitely have some fire weather concerns. And then as we head into Saturday, temperatures warming up into the low 70s. So we're getting a nice little weather jump or warm jump. And then clouds increasing as well. We're also going to see winds increasing from late morning into early evening before another front pushes through. We talked about this yesterday where we could see a low risk for severe weather. You can see it's shifted up just north of us. We could still see an isolated thunderstorm or two, but we're switching over to mostly just seeing showers overnight and into early Sunday morning. But I'm going to have those details coming up.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Well, the state of Oklahoma carried out its first execution of 2025. Wendell Arden Grissom has been on death row for almost 17 years for the killing of 23-year-old Amber Matthews and the shooting of Amber's friend Drew Koff inside Koff's home near Watanoga. Now, Koff was shot several times but was able to escape, but Grissom was shot and killed Amber as she was shielding 2 young kids.
I wouldn't be here without my family and Amber's family. And, you know, the victims are often pushed to the side, and you guys really need to remember her because she was unbelievable. She saved my kids.
Now, protesters gathered outside the governor's mansion in Oklahoma City yesterday morning ahead of the execution. Grissom was pronounced dead at 10:13 a.m. A federal grand jury indicts a Commerce, Oklahoma man and woman for the murder of a toddler. Now, in addition to a charge of second-degree murder in Indian Country, Daniel Allen Ash and Amber Dawn Murphy have been charged with neglecting 4 other children. Now, the 2 are accused of unlawfully killing a 2-year-old in their case. They were arrested in the case originally in September 2024 when the crime happened, and they remain in jail. Ash has also been charged with aggravated sexual abuse of a minor in Indian Country. Authorities respond to a vehicular accident in Crawford County yesterday morning involving a pedestrian. The reports came in at around 11:16 at the intersection of K47 and 190th in rural Girard. The police say Erin O'Connell, an 18-year-old from Pittsburgh, was crossing the highway when she was struck by a pickup. EMS transported O'Connell to an area hospital where she was flown to Tulsa for further treatment. She is listed in critical condition. And officials in Lamar, Missouri begin repairs after vandals destroy parts of the bathrooms at Wheeler Park. Now, they say the park experienced 2 separate incidents this week alone. Officials closed park bathrooms during the winter to avoid breakage from the cold temperatures and usually open up back in spring. Now, they say these vandalism incidents may cause delays and expect the repairs will cost more than $1,000. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, Jasper County voters will soon be asked to approve a 1/4-cent sales tax to create a children's service fund. Now, Jasper County for Kids says the tax would generate $5 million annually for children in Jasper County. KOAM Samantha Walker spoke to organizers to learn why they say the fund would provide stable funding for area organizations.
The Jasper County For Kids Coalition is made up of volunteers and organizations hoping to help support area children. They came together when they saw Jasper County's rank drop within Missouri Kids Count, a nonprofit that tracks the well-being of children in all 114 counties in Missouri, from best to worst. In 2024, Jasper County ranked 98th.
Agencies who work with children, the schools, other agencies that work with children, and they've just seen it. And they know this is an opportunity to possibly have additional services that could improve those scores again.
They're asking voters to approve a 1/4-cent sales tax to create the Children's Services Fund. Funds would be required to stay within Jasper County, helping give stable funding for mental health, prevention, and drug and alcohol treatment services.
I think there are many examples here in town, or here in the county, of shortfalls, not because they're not providing good service. They are. We have great agencies providing great service, but sometimes there are more children to serve than there are spaces in a given service.
If approved, funds would go to organizations like here at Rafa International to help support their mental health services for children in Jasper County.
Mental health services are very rare in the area. All of our therapists hold long waiting lists, and that's the truth for other agencies as well.
If Rafa International were to receive support from the fund, they say it would go to help their Hope and Healing Center.
A fund like this would really help us to offer more consistent services, make more services available to people, and help families who might face financial burdens or barriers whenever they're accessing mental health treatment.
10 other counties in Missouri have used the state statutes to establish a Children's Services Fund. Jasper County for Kids says those counties have seen improvements to their children's well-being. They want the same for Jasper County.
What this initiative represents, I think, is just all of us taking responsibility for caring for the children in our own communities, in our own county, and making sure that everyone has access to the treatment that they need.
Reporting in Jasper County, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Now, if passed, the sales tax supporting the fund would have no set end date. Jasper County voters will see the proposition on their ballots April 8th. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Carthage High School baseball faces East Newton on opening day. We'll have the details. Plus, Snoopy celebrates 75 years in style with designer plushes in Paris. And we have a windy and partly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Lindsay Gaffney in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, Pitt State women's basketball hit the practice floor yesterday afternoon in preparation for its trip to the Elite Eight. The Gorillas will face Lubbock Christian on Monday night in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, right now, they're keeping their head down, not paying attention to the outside noise.
Just kind of focusing on being true to ourselves and doing what we do because, we know nothing about these teams we're going to go see and just kind of doing what's got us here up to this point because, we've done a lot of good things this year, and so just kind of taking each of those and keep continuing to grow on us.
We haven't really looked back much. We haven't really looked forward much. It's just what's next, and so I think just to look at Lubbock Christian and just try to stay in your routines as much as possible. And that's what I think it is, just such a hard place to be in, where you really do want to take it in. But if you do that too long, you start to lose time and lose focus and all those things. So it's been, it seems like the time is just going through the hourglass so fast, like water, not sand. I mean, it's running so fast. And so we're just trying to really keep up.
Well, yesterday morning, Pittsburgh State senior Grace Pyle receives honorable mention All-America status, which makes her the 10th player in program history to be named an All-American and the first since 2018. And because the team was participating while those lists get released, Pyle didn't know about it until hearing this question.
This morning you got named an All-American. What does that mean to you?
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Individual accolades though don't happen without great teammates. So I'm just really have to shout out my teammates for pushing me to be the best player I can and helping me get there. That's awesome.
You didn't know that?
I had no idea. No, thank you for telling me that.
Just over a week ago, Carthage High School holds a ribbon-cutting ceremony at its brand new baseball stadium, the McCune-Brooks Regional Hospital Trust Baseball Complex. Carthage versus East Newton, top of the first, bases loaded. Braxton Wolf grounds it to third. The Tigers get one out but can't turn the double play and two-runner score. Patriots up 2-0. Bottom of the inning, Carthage already has 3 runs. Taylor Stevens Diggs comes racing home on the wild pitch. Tigers lead 5-2 now. On the second, a runner on third, Jordan Burnett hits a weak ground ball and the defense can't make the play. The runner scores. Tigers lead by 3. Next inning, Carthage is up by 5. Man on second. Runner again, nice hit up the middle, and Carson Reinhardt has a diving stop, preventing the runner from scoring. But next batter, Blaine Leinenkamp hits a grounder that will score the runner. Tigers up 8-2. Now top of the 4th, man on first. Tucker Larson hits one to the right. Now that'll drop it down. He's got a stand-up double. Patriots trail 8-3. East Newton can't tack on anymore though, and the Tigers cruise to a 13-3 victory in their home opener. Well, yesterday was also the first day of the NCAA basketball tournament. Now we've got 16 different first-round games in the tournament. Last night, 10-seed Arkansas takes down Kansas 79-72. That ends the Jayhawks season. It's the first time that they get bounced in the round of 64 since 2006. And over in Wichita, Mizzou gets upset in its first round game. The Tigers fall to Drake 67-57. The Bulldogs are led by head coach Ben McCollum, who came over from Northwest Missouri, a Division II MIAA school. And their leading scorer, Bennett Sturts, also is a Bearcat transfer. Now he's one of 4 players to follow McCollum from Northwest to Drake. They lead to the Bulldogs to the second round of the tournament for the first time since 1971. And still to come, a new study suggests acts of kindness may make you happier than a higher salary. Plus, Lindsay has a check of the 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Well, taking a look, we've got cloudy skies out there right now. Fire weather warnings for nearly all of us until 7 p.m. tonight, and that's due to our high winds and our low humidity. We also are seeing some clouds pushing in. We've got a front moving in. It's going to be a dry front today. We've got another front coming in tomorrow. So taking a look, current conditions, we're about 45 degrees. So overall, it's a lot nicer than it was last night. We're going to drop a few more degrees in the next couple of hours, getting down to just about 40 degrees, maybe briefly dropping down to 39, but mostly 40, and it feels pretty good. It feels about where it should be, but we do have some winds gusting out of the south, 10 to 15 miles per hour, but gusts up to 30 miles per hour, and humidity is already still pretty low. Now we're starting our morning off, temperatures again dropping down a couple more degrees, but by 8 a.m. getting back up to 44 degrees, and it's going to be mostly cloudy and windy. And then later on today, temperatures only getting up to the upper 60s. Again, clouds start to clear by about 2-3 p.m. and then we're going to see those winds continue to gust, but shifting out of the west. So let's take a look. Throughout the rest of the morning, we're getting up to 45-mile-per-hour wind gusts, especially on the Missouri side, but 30 to 35-mile-per-hour wind gusts on the Kansas and Oklahoma side. Those are going to continue, but you can see our front starting to push through, so all those stronger winds stay ahead of the front, and then we're looking pretty good. Nice, calm, windy, non-windy evening, nice, calm day tomorrow until tomorrow afternoon and into early evening, where we're going to see winds picking back up to about 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts ahead of our front. So let's take a look at our future track. As this front starts to push through early afternoon, so it's about noon, we could see a little bit of a drizzle right along that boundary, but it's not going to be disruptive and likely won't even reach the surface. Temperatures already getting to about 60 degrees by noon. As that front starts to push through, all the clouds stay ahead of it, and we're looking pretty good. 67, 68 degrees overall for most of us. That front passes. We've got a clear night ahead. By 10 p.m., we're only down in the lower 50s. So overall, again, looking really nice. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and jump right back to that real quick. So we've got that clear night ahead. And then heading into Saturday is where we see our potential thunderstorm chances. Now, it's not going to be a severe threat. We're starting off the morning, clouds increasing again. Again, temperatures dropping down to about 39 degrees. Now, winds shift back out of the south-southeast. Temperatures getting up to the low 70s. So it's going to be a really nice day, even though a little cloudy. And then as we head into later in the evening, we can see our front starting to pass. Now, this cloud, this is our model. It's a convective allowing model, meaning we can see convection, which leads to thunderstorms. And that cloud right there does develop into a nice little isolated supercell, though it develops starting out just northeast of Joplin, but really kicking off after it moves out of Springfield. So we've got a couple of isolated storms to watch ahead of our cold front as we head into overnight Saturday night and Sunday morning. And then these rain showers push in after that and linger until early Sunday morning. So we could see a decent amount of rainfall, and we definitely would like to use it, especially seeing as we still have some moderate drought conditions, especially on the Missouri and Arkansas side. Now, overall, temperatures are looking pretty good over the next 10 days. We have a couple of cold days following that front Saturday night and into Sunday. Temperatures dropping to the mid 60s, a little bit cooler on Monday, low 60s, but we're back into the 70s for the rest of the week. We do have a couple more rain shower chances, though as of right now, no severe weather chances in the next 10 days. That's Look at Forecast. We'll be right back.
Well, topping Health Watch this morning, experts say acts of kindness may make you happier than a higher salary. The World Happiness Report is released each year on the International Day of Happiness. That's a global analysis on happiness and well-being. Now, this year's report paid special attention to acts on benevolence and people's expectations of their communities. Now, we're talking about acts like donating money, volunteering, and doing a nice thing for a stranger. Now, the data suggests 70% of the world's population did at least one kind thing in the last month. An expert with Gallup said acts of generosity predict happiness even more than earning a higher salary. Well, it could be a major breakthrough for Alzheimer's treatment. Now, for the first time, scientists say there is evidence removing sticky protein plaques years before symptoms appear could postpone the disease. Caroline Shively has more.
I spent a lot of my early years enjoying life as much as possible in the event that I may someday develop the disease.
That's the reality for people genetically destined to develop Alzheimer's disease. But for the first time, an experimental treatment could delay their symptoms. Researchers say it clears the brain of sticky proteins known as amyloids, a key indicator of the illness. But unlike similar treatments, this one starts that process years before symptoms appear.
They are given years of dementia-free life where they're not having any symptoms. They're living normally. They're cognitively normal.
The study, published Wednesday in the journal Lancet Neurology, followed 22 patients who inherited mutations that cause amyloid overproduction. After taking an anti-amyloid drug for an average of 8 years, the risk of developing symptoms dropped to 50%.
This trial has given us life. It gives us life every day.
Scientists say they now want to determine how strong the protection is, but their meetings to review grant funding from the National Institutes of Health have already been canceled twice. It comes as the agency faces funding restrictions and layoffs that have stalled millions of dollars in research.
Until it gets reviewed and we understand what the score is, we're now in jeopardy that we don't have the funds to continue the trial.
This month, a federal judge blocked the Trump administration's plan to cut $4 billion in medical research funding over concerns it could jeopardize critical studies on diseases like Alzheimer's.
And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
We have some fire weather in the area. That's going to continue until 7 p.m. tonight, plus winds starting to pick up, gusting 25 to 30 miles per hour, but they'll get up to 45 miles per hour by this afternoon.
Right now at 5:30, a pharmacist in Southwest Missouri has some advice for preventing overdosing.
And we have fire weather warnings across the area today, and I'll have those details coming up.
Plus, an iconic Route 66 landmark celebrates an anniversary 100 years in the making.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
And it's going to be a really nice day today. You've been telling us all morning. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, it wasn't as cold. I don't know about you, but when I left the house today, I wasn't as cold as yesterday.
No, it's a little chilly.
We're already off to a good start.
Yes.
It is a little chilly out there, so don't forget your jacket. But let's go ahead and take a look outside as we head through the day. We've got some cloudy skies to start our morning off with, which does put a damper on the warmer temperature. Plus, we also have fire weather warnings across the area, and that's going to be in effect until 7 p.m. tonight because these winds aren't really going anywhere. We're already starting to see winds gusting 20 to 25 miles per hour, even pushing 30 miles per hour. You can see Fort Scott, Iola, Yates Center, even Chanute. And then we also have very low humidity values. So we've got a dry front moving through later on today. There you can see it's starting to push in, and that drops humidity down less than 20% for all of us. We already have dry fuels in the ground, so the surface is pretty dry, and then we have that dry air moving in, winds gusting. So it is going to be a pretty dangerous fire weather warnings today. Now, overcast skies throughout most of the morning. We've got a few more pushing into the area. A dry front starting to push through as well, and that cold front moves through, but no rain is expected along the way. Might get a little bit of a drizzle, but overall it is going to be a pretty nice day. Temperature is reaching about 67, 68 degrees. Again, really warm, upper 60s, very nice. We do have those winds gusting, which does kind of add a little bit of a wind chill down there. Now, as we head into the evening, temperatures are dropping down through the 60s and the 50s, but the winds die down. We're going to have pretty light winds overnight. So overall, pretty good night. Now, clouds increase again tomorrow. We also have temperatures warming up to the low 70s and winds picking back up because we do have another cold front moving through tomorrow night. It does bring the chance for some thunderstorms. So you can see that low risk has shifted further north, north of Joplin. So we don't have as much of a threat, but I'm going to go over those details coming up.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Well, this week marks National Poison Prevention Week, a time to raise awareness about the dangers of poisoning and how we can prevent it. Now, to shed light on the issue, we spoke with a pharmacist from Alps Pharmacy in Anderson, Missouri, about these challenges he sees, particularly when it comes to overdosing.
I've seen people bring in bottles that have 2 and 3 different medicines in it and aren't sure what they are, and that is very, very dangerous. Even if it's a medication you've been on and it's an old bottle and you want to put it in the new, absolutely do not do that.
Now, Dr. York says if you're unsure how or when to use a drug, he says it's best to contact your local pharmacy. And the Wildcat Glades Education Cottage held a rock wrapping program yesterday, giving kids the chance to turn simple stones into unique necklaces by wrapping them in wire. Now limited to 25 participants, the event encouraged children to gain a new appreciation for rocks while creating something special.
We love getting kids to think about different aspects of nature. So it makes sense that if you value the rocks, then you're going to take care of the rocks. So we try to form everything that we do around something nature related.
Now, 6 volunteers along with staff helped guide the kids through the craft, with parents joining in to make it a fun, hands-on family experience. Well, it was definitely nice to get some sunshine and a break from the wind for Joplin's first Third Thursday event of the year. Downtown Joplin is blocked off for 3 hours in the evening on the third Thursday of every month from March through October. Now, the monthly cultural event features local artisans, music, entertainment, and of course, food. Now, this month's theme, Go Green Downtown.
Yeah, it feels great. I'm really excited being out in the community at the first Third Thursday of the year, and just, getting to interact with the community.
So it's a bunch of fun. We love doing local events. We love being out, being able to give back to the community. We love making jewelry for everybody.
Now, the theme for April's Third Thursday is Be a Hero, sponsored by Bert's Neighborhood Dispensary. Well, Nelson's Old Riverton store in Riverton, Kansas turned 100 years old yesterday. Originally opening on March 20th, 1925, this iconic store sits on Route 66. Leo Williams built the store in 1925, and it was eventually passed down to Scott Nelson, who has been at the store for more than 50 years. Now, in all that time, Scott says after 100 years, not much has changed.
It was always, she didn't want to change anything. And so she drilled that in me so much when I was a kid that I don't want to change anything. Like even when I deal with our wholesalers and they've got something coming on and they're changing something, I said, well, you come over here someday and you'll see why I don't exactly want to change the way you want to change, because we kind of like it the way we've got it here.
Nelson says the store is planning a big birthday celebration this May. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. London's Heathrow Airport will be closed today after a fire caused a significant power outage. Plus, an American held in Afghanistan is finally freed. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Well, topping World Watch, cartoon dog Snoopy is getting a treat for his 75th anniversary. Now, more than 50 cartoon dog Snoopy plushes are getting to wear designer clothes in Paris to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Peanuts comic strip. Now, it's all part of the Snoopy in Style exhibition at France's Hotel du Grand Veneur. In the last 75 years, Snoopy has inspired several clothing collections, including from Gucci and Uniqlo. Snoopy, the well-known cartoon character from the Peanuts comic strip, is a beagle dog created by American cartoonist Charles Schulz. Now, Schulz's wife, Janine, said designers enjoyed making costumes for Snoopy, and the exhibition opens Saturday and runs until April 5th. One of the world's busiest international airports will be closed today after a fire caused a significant power outage. Now, in a statement on X, London's Heathrow Airport says all flights will be down until 11:59 p.m. London time today. Now, a fire at an electrical substation in West London late Thursday night knocked out power and forced evacuations of the airport and several homes. Now, other social media postings apparently show Heathrow already dark from the outage. Heathrow officials say passengers shouldn't travel to the airport until it officially reopens, and they don't yet know when dependable levels of power will be back. Well, Palestinians sift through rubble after an Israeli airstrike in the Gaza Strip Thursday. Now, over a dozen people gathering near a large crater in Khan Yunis, searching through the remains of the attack, which left around 16 people dead. Buildings also collapsing and trees left burned by the airstrikes. Israeli military officials saying Thursday that they killed the head of Hamas's internal security apparatus in an airstrike in Gaza. And a U.S. citizen held captive in Afghanistan is now on his way home. Now, he's the third American detainee released by the Taliban since January. Secretary of State Marco Rubio called the release a positive step and said President Trump will continue efforts to release all unjustly detained Americans held overseas. Troy Yingst reports from Tel Aviv.
American citizen George Glesman is coming home. The 65-year-old was held by the Taliban in Afghanistan since December of 2022. Now, after weeks of negotiations conducted by American and Qatari mediators, Glesman will be reunited with his family.
They identified George's case as a priority on the first day of the Trump administration. And since then, I know that they have been working every single day to secure his release.
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio thanking Qatar in a statement, saying its steadfast commitment and diplomatic efforts were instrumental in securing George's release. Qatar has consistently proven to be a reliable partner and trusted mediator, facilitating complex negotiations. Sources familiar with the release say the Trump administration did not have to give up anything in return for Glesman's freedom. This was considered a goodwill gesture from the Taliban, which has been in control of Afghanistan following the U.S. withdrawal in the summer of 2021. Trump envoy Adam Boehler was personally involved in the talks and is currently escorting Glesman home.
The U.S. Special Envoy for Hostage Affairs, Mr. Adam Boehler, considered the progress made regarding prisoners between Afghanistan and the U.S. as a positive step towards building trust.
Glesman's return is the latest in a series of efforts by the Trump administration to bring U.S. citizens home.
That's a look at World Watch. We'll be right back.
Well, good morning. We have overcast skies so far this morning, some cloudy skies, little breaks in the clouds overall, but we're mostly focused on the fire weather today. So we've got fire weather warnings for nearly all of us until 7 p.m. this evening. Now, those clouds are going to continue, but they're also bringing in dry air as well. It is a bit warmer too, so temperature is dropping down another couple of degrees, but right now it's about 45 degrees, getting down to about 41, 40. Feels like 38, so it still feels a little bit cooler, but overall it's much nicer than it was yesterday. And then we have south winds that are gusting up to 25, 30 miles per hour. Now we're starting off our morning about the same mid 40s to lower 40s. We got those mostly cloudy skies and then those winds gusting up to 35 miles per hour over the next hour or two, and then increasing as we head into early afternoon. So just about 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. gusts up to 45 miles per hour, but temperatures warming up into the upper 60s, and then clouds start to dissipate a little bit as that front passes. Now, as we head through the rest of the morning, we can see winds gusting 40 to 45 miles per hour mid-morning to late morning and then early afternoon. But you can see when that cold front starts approaching, all of those stronger winds are shifted off to the east, and that's going to continue overnight tonight. We've got very light winds and through most of the day tomorrow, but tomorrow evening we have winds picking back up ahead of another front. So let's look at our future track. By noon, we're starting to see that cold front pushing in, and we could see some drizzle along that boundary, but that drizzle is not really going to be make a big impact, and not for all of us, just some of our northern counties. Then it clears out by about 3:34 p.m. We might still see some clouds, but overall sun comes back out for the evening, and we're looking pretty good. Clear skies for the rest of the evening, and again, calm light winds. Now, as we continue into Saturday morning, we're going to see clouds increasing again. Temperatures dropping down to the low 40s, upper 30s. We're seeing winds shift right back out of the southeast through most of the day on Saturday, and then also starting to gust later in the afternoon or after about 3 p.m., gusting up to 30 miles per hour. Not as severe as what we're seeing today. And then temperatures getting up into the low 70s. Other than the overcast, guys, tomorrow's going to be very nice until the evening. Now, taking a look, we've got that cold front pushing through late in the evening. It's going to be mostly overnight showers and thunderstorms, and this is a convective allowing model, so we could see those pop-up thunderstorms, which we're seeing some clouds pushing in. You can see it goes in a different direction, moves more north-northeast than all of the other clouds that are moving southeast. That is going to be a potential supercell that pops up, but you can see it starting to pop up northeast of Joplin and then clearing out and really taking off after it leaves Springfield. So we may not see a big threat with that, but we could be continuing to watch that just in case it pops up a little ahead of time. And then those showers do push in overnight and into early Sunday morning, where we're left with a few morning showers and temperatures dropping down into the mid-60s. Now, we do have drought conditions, which it is not popping up right now, but not severe, mostly on the Missouri side, some dry to moderate conditions. So a little bit of rain this weekend is going to be nice. Temperatures are cooler on Monday, but warm back up into the 70s all week next week and into the weekend. Plus, we have more rain chances ahead. That's a look at your forecast. We'll be right back.
Well, an Oscar-winning movie is getting a sequel. David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minutes.
All right, who's in there?
I'm sorry. Welcome to the land of your ancestors.
Miguel?
We're your family. You're skeletons.
You're alive!
Pixar is planning a sequel to its 2017 hit Coco. Disney chief Bob Iger announced at the company's annual shareholder meeting Coco 2 is due in 2029. No word on a plot, but the original directors are on board. This is Walt Disney as you've never seen him before. These rare photos from the early 1920s are part of the latest Disney auction at Van Eaton Galleries. They're part of the estate of another animation legend, Bob Clampett. The auction takes place this weekend. More info at vegalleries.com.
Is it a prank? Is it a work of art? Is it a social experiment?
It was like this alternate universe that's within the real world.
In 2003, 8 Rhode Island artists created a secret apartment inside Providence Place Mall and lived there for 4 years as both a work of art and a protest against gentrification. A new documentary, Secret Mall Apartment, reunites the participants and uses their home movies to show how and why they pulled it off. The film debuts this weekend. Locations and showtimes at secretmallapartment.com. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Well, severe storms brought plenty of lightning to the southeast over the weekend, but for one highway driver, it was way too close for comfort. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Take a look at the terrifying moment. A driver in Atlanta barely dodges a powerful lightning strike. A slow-mo replay shows the bolts of lightning pounding the interstate just as the driver swerves to avoid them. The Southeast saw plenty of severe weather recently, and Atlanta was littered with stunning lightning strikes caught on cameras across the city. But this close encounter was a little too close for comfort and can only be described as, well, shocking. Here's another close call that turned out to be the right call. Norfolk fire officials arriving to fight a propane tank fire in rural Stanton decided to hold off after they say they heard what sounded like a pressure valve making noise. Turns out they were right. Soon thereafter, the tank erupted in a massive fireball, forcing crews to pull back even further for safety. The huge explosion left behind plenty of shrapnel, but thanks to good instincts by the crew, no injuries. Whew, everybody good and tense? How about a happy story, huh? Hey, I said it would be happy, not handsome. This not-so-sexy species of blobfish, which was once declared the world's ugliest animal for, well, obvious reasons, now has a new badge of honor. Online voters in New Zealand just named the blobfish Fish of the Year in an online competition from the Mountains to Sea Conservation Trust aimed at raising awareness of the country's marine life and ecosystems. It just goes to show that looks aren't everything, and even the fuggliest of fish can be considered quite a catch. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
I don't know. I think that fish looks pretty cool. Stick around. We'll be right back. Well, the American Kennel Club is out with its list of top dog breeds for 2025, and the French Bulldog reigns supreme as the most popular purebred dog in the U.S. for a third year in a row. Now, the nonprofit says the Frenchie now occupies a solid place as, quote, America's sweetheart. It describes the breed as great companions for all types of people. The Kennel Club's next 5 most popular breeds also maintained their ranking from 2023. in order. They're the Labrador Retriever, Golden Retriever, German Shepherd, Poodle, and Dachshund. Well, carb lovers unite, and today is National French Bread Day. French bread, also known as a baguette, is a long, thin loaf made from basic lean dough. Now, it has also become a symbol of French culinary tradition. The bread was actually a result of French law passed in 1920, which prohibited bakers from working before 4 a.m. Now, as a result, bakers had to adjust how they made their bread, and voila, the baguette was born. Now, you don't have to be in France to enjoy National French Bread Day. You can try to bake your own or buy one from your local bakery and pair it with your favorite topping.
Well, today we've got temperatures warming up to the upper 60s, winds increasing, and we also start the day pretty cloudy. Now, that leads to some fire weather risks. So we do have fire weather warning for all of our counties until 7 p.m. today. We've got a front moving through, not expecting any rain tonight, but clear skies and overnight temperatures only dropping down into the 50s. Now, Saturday getting up into the low 70s. And we also have the chance for some late evening storms. As of right now, we're only looking at potential one pop-up thunderstorm ahead of that front. And then we're going to see showers lingering until early Sunday morning. Temperature drops for a couple of days, but we're back into the 70s next week with more rain chances.